So my screen capture's a little bit off, but I don't really give a fuck. I don't feel like correcting it. Okay, so actually, check Audacity here. Okay, the volume is up. Check. Being a Christian isn't easy. I'll just read over these before I break them all down or question them and whatever. Carrying our cross isn't easy. Serving the Lord isn't easy. Blending in and following the world is. What do you want to? I trust God every day and I don't care what others say. The easy way leads to destruction. Our Father's way is an eternal fountain. You coming. Okay, so being a Christian isn't easy. Now, well, you see here that the easy way leads to destruction. I don't understand how that is. Obviously, that's referring to sin being our nature. Being a Christian isn't easy. Well, okay, so being a Christian, you're talking about life right now, mortality. So if mortality isn't easy, then how would heaven be easy? Why did God make his word difficult? And why do you want to submit? Well, you say the easy way leads to destruction. How? How does sin lead to destruction? Of course, you guys never really point out what sin actually is. You say it's crimes against God and whatever, but the best you guys can come up with is, you guys are against everything. You guys are against, you claim to be against murder and rape, but also prostitution, pornography, and you just hate everything. Except for what you think is in alignment with God. So being a Christian isn't easy. Well, the reality is that you guys often go on about free will, to which I would add, okay, so, we can't have free will if we're born with original sin, which means we are, by default, naturally wicked or bad or whatever word you want to use, under the devil's influence. But aside from that, I would say, why isn't birth included in that free will package? Why can't we choose? Now, the easy way leads to destruction. Now, the problem there is that atheism is the minority in the world. Secularism, whatever you want to call it. Whatever the proper form of that word would be. So, and the reality is that the world is just saturated with destruction. So who's causing that? Christians, Muslims, what? Yeah, obviously religions are the dominant force in this world. So, you say that the easy way leads to destruction. Who are you to say that? You saying that atheism is destroying everything? You saying Islam is destroying everything? But you guys aren't? Christianity isn't? And, I don't even know what to say to that. I'll come back to that. Carrying our cross isn't easy. Why do you want to? Well, yeah, my angle is psychology, so why do you want everything? Why do you agree that, why do you want everything to be difficult? You say being a Christian isn't easy, but you want to be Christian. You want this religion to be the truth. Carrying our cross isn't easy. Why do you want to carry the cross? You're being obligated to be Christian. according to the Bible. God insists that you follow His word and submit to it. I wouldn't argue that Christianity is easy, but how difficult are people's lives today, most Christians? Or how well are they following the Bible? How well are you following the Bible, ACT? Yeah, Alex Sherney, I guess. I don't even know. Serving the Lord isn't easy. Well, even if God is essentially forcing you, now you guys can say that we have the choice, but God is forcing us to make that choice, isn't He? Assuming His existence to point that out. Obviously, I don't believe God exists, but He essentially is forcing you to be a Christian, because if you're not, then you go to hell. Obviously, right? Carrying our cross isn't easy. Serving the Lord isn't easy. Well, you guys are the ones who want to, so I don't know what you're whining about. Well, that's the thing, though. You guys want to be Christian. You guys want to carry the cross. You guys want to serve the Lord. So the question is, why do you want to? Why enable this? Well, you also say the easy way leads to destruction. You don't. That's just an assertion. Well, you don't even point out what the easy way is. I said sin, but I'm just guessing that you're referring to sin. Blending in or serving the Lord. Why does the Lord need to be served? What does serving the Lord entail exactly? Blending in and serving the world is. Well, that's why I don't. Well, so that I'm opposed to blending in, but I don't want to. I'm not interested in blending into religion. I'm not interested in blending in with bigotry, fascism, or whatever. Politically speaking, well, that's what society is at large. People are assholes. I trust God every day and don't care what others say. Why do you trust God? You don't care what other Christians say? Other people are obligated to care what you say? You guys are the ones whining about everything, and this post in particular, you're whining about how difficult Christianity is, while simultaneously you have the desire to be a part of it. So what is that? Personal indifference to what other people say only applies to personal preferences, which you aren't trying to impose on other people. Christianity is the exact opposite of that. It wants to be spread. Christianity forever condemns those who do not, and you believe in this religion. How is God trustworthy? Now, obviously the Bible is God's word, but I could say that being that the Bible was written by people, and if people are natural or by default sinners, they're born sinners, would that not mean the Bible is lies? Because that's what the devil is, right? We're all born under the devil's influence, right? According to that book. I could tell you the same thing as a non-believer. I could tell you I don't give a fuck what you think. How would you respond to that? You would tell me I just want to sin, right? So why am I obligated to give a fuck what you think when you're exempt somehow from social opinion? You're the one provoking. You're the one with the sick worldview, the dehumanizing worldview. You don't care what other people think, but you're here whining about how difficult Christianity is and all that it involves, like bearing a cross or whatever the fuck that was and serving God. So, what? You say you don't care what other people think, yet you're offended when other people don't think like you. So how is God trustworthy, and how are you trustworthy? Why would I trust you? Our Father's way is an eternal fountain. Well, what if we don't want that eternal fountain? Whatever that even means. Eternal fountain of what? So, it's, I don't know. Well, the big problem is that Christianity is about spreading itself. So you say that being a Christian and carrying our cross and serving the Lord isn't easy. Well, you're essentially, by default, just by even believing in this world, even if you don't want to spread the gospel, you're by default associated with that. So you're guilty by association, essentially, because that's what the religion is about. So you're trying to call people into the difficulty that Christianity is, which is what you agree with, and carrying the cross and service. So, well, okay, so if destruction means working together, solving problems, equality, fairness, all that stuff, then I'm definitely in favor of destruction. Call me in on that. I'm going to the destruction. I'm not interested in division, hate. Well, you guys call it love, but no, I'm not interested in judging people or discriminating against people just because they're different, and agreeing with a book that says they deserve this and that. Fuck all that shit. That's destruction. That's another thing too. I mean, you say the easy way leads to destruction. Well, how is Christianity the opposite? I mean, Christianity is violent. Christianity is discrimination. Well, it's hate. Well, the Bible is destruction anyway, death. So what would you how would you describe Christianity if the easy way is destruction? As you don't even explain how.